Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I am very excited about showing you how this solution will help transform your work experience by bringing simplicity and convenience to human capital management. With this solution, you will have instant access to all of your information from anywhere on any device. With our analytical approach, you will gain visibility into your workforce data to make it easier to gather key metrics and predict workforce trends to make more informed decisions and allow you to operate your business more effectively. Let's take a look at all of this in action. Today, I would like to walk you through a typical employee's life cycle, starting from the recruitment and onboarding process. We will then explore how your employees can access their personal information through the Employee Self-Service portal. And finally, we will take a look at the HR Administrator's functionality, where we will focus on how you can use this solution to better manage your team and your overall business strategy. With all that said, allow me to pull up our sample recruitment site. Within the system, you can set up your open job requisitions, and you can post those openings out onto your company website or any other job board, allowing candidates to apply for those open positions. Candidates can access this information directly from their mobile device, where they can search through all of your open jobs. From here, they can view the job description and the job requirements to help decide if this job is a good fit. And when ready, they can apply for this position. They will then be asked to create a user profile to capture all of their information. In this case, I'm going to log in as an existing user so that we can take a look at an application that's already been completed. As a new candidate completes their application, they will simply enter in their information using this application wizard here on the left-hand side of this screen. They can keep track of their progress as they complete their application here within the progress bar across the top. Candidates will then be asked to upload a copy of their resume. They can use their standard resume as is, or they can choose to automate their application process by using our preferred resume format. And all of their information, work experience, and education will then be populated into this application automatically. Keep in mind that this is a customizable application, which allows you to determine what information you want to collect from this candidate. You can mark certain fields as required, you can create custom fields, and you can ask knockout questions as part of this application. As a final step, the candidates can review their information and sign off on their online application before applying for this position. An email notification will then be generated to alert the hiring manager that this application is now ready for their review, and the candidate will also receive a notification letting them know that their application has been received. Now let's take a look at how you can manage the recruitment process. To do this, we will log in as Kathy, our company administrator. Managers need a tool that will help streamline processes so that they can perform more effectively and focus their time on moving the organization forward strategically. Here on her home dashboard, Kathy has insight into her recruitment efforts. This recruitment tile gives visibility into the number of open job requisitions and where our candidates fall within the different hiring stages. You will also notice a series of dashboards that have been configured here across the top of the screen, and these dashboards will give managers increased visibility into their team. Each module has a fully responsive dashboard that includes embedded analytics that will help guide smarter decisions and prompt the user to take action. Let's begin by taking a look at the recruitment dashboard. Here we can get an insight into our open job requisitions. We can also see how many candidates have applied for each one of these open positions and where each candidate falls within the hiring process. We can use the Applicants by Job Title chart to check out the applicants that have applied for a specific position. This brings us to a report that has been filtered for that position that we had selected. Across the top of the screen, we have a resume search tool that will allow users to type in certain keywords, such as a certain skill set or a certification that they are looking for, and the results will display within this report. Here at the bottom of this screen, we can see additional graphs to get insight into our recruitment efforts. Perhaps we are preparing for an upcoming interview and we need to evaluate the candidates that are moving into the interview stage of the hiring process. Let's use this hiring stage chart to access those candidates in the interview phase. Within this report, we have the ability to drill down into each candidate to review their application, schedule interviews, and move them through the hiring process. So let's take a look at our applicant's information. Here you can move the candidates through the defined hiring stages from the time the application was submitted all the way through the hiring process. As candidates navigate through these different hiring stages, emails can automatically be sent out to those candidates to inform them of where they stand within the hiring process. We can see that our candidate is currently in the interview stage, and we can track those interviews here as well. Now keep in mind, all of the information captured from the candidate will flow into the applicant tracking system seamlessly. This first screen that we come to is where you can find the applicant's contact information. You also have easy access to their resume, and this information is pulling from their online application and is easily available for the hiring manager to review things like their skills, their work experience, and their education as they are going through the evaluation process. When it comes time to scheduling interviews, you can simply access the communications screen, and the details around each interview will be stored here for easy visibility. And once an interview has been scheduled, you can email the candidate right from here. You have the option of drafting an email on the fly or selecting from one of our predetermined email templates. As you can see, we have created an email template that we can send to all of the candidates that move on to this phase of the interview process. And when sending these emails, you can add a calendar attachment as well. Essentially, you can schedule an interview and have the interview sent to that candidate's personal calendar. Now let's fast forward a little bit and say that we are looking to hire this person. Here we can access our new hire request form. When hiring an employee, you will be asked to select which applicant you are hiring. Let's do a search for our applicant. Now by selecting this applicant's name, the system will look to this applicant's profile and auto-populate his personal information into his new hire employee record. Next, we need to identify the position that you are filling. You can tie specific default settings to each job, which will then be automatically populated for your new hire. So now that we have this key information, we're ready to continue with the hiring process. This will open up a new screen, and you will notice that certain fields such as the employee's name and the employee's address have already been populated for you, as this is pulling directly from their applicant information. So we will need to simply fill out the remaining required information in order to hire this applicant. We will need to enter in things such as their pay information and some of their required profiles. Remember, most of this information has already been populated based upon the position that you're filling. And after you have identified all of the required information, you will be able to successfully hire this employee. Once an employee is hired, an onboarding checklist will be assigned to that employee automatically. The employee will then receive an email notification informing them that they now have access to their employee self-service portal, where they need to begin walking through the onboarding process. That being said, let's log in and take a look at our employee self-service portal. Let's log in as Josh Bronson, our newly hired employee. Josh can access his employee self-service portal from any device, including his phone, and he will have the same user experience across the board. The first screen that he comes to is his personal dashboard, where he has easy access to some of his employee self-service functionality. Here, he has instant access to view any company announcements and enroll in his benefits. As you can see, the menu is logically laid out to provide easy navigation for your employees. Let's begin by taking a look at the onboarding process for new hires. Here we have our new hire checklist, which was created to help streamline the onboarding process for your employees. We can view the full onboarding wizard by clicking here on the checklist name. As you can see, this onboarding checklist is displaying the items that Josh is responsible for completing. You can include all of your new hire forms within this checklist by creating electronic versions of each form. First, you will notice that Josh is required to review his handbook. We have a copy of the handbook attached right here in the checklist for easy access. Once he has reviewed the handbook, he can complete the handbook authorization form. He will have access to preview the custom-built form, and he will be prompted to sign off on this form with his electronic signature. This form will then go through an approval process based upon the workflow that you have defined. Back on the checklist, you will notice that we need to complete the I-9 forms and withholding forms, which are built standard within the system. These forms will be populated with the employee's personal information and can be electronically signed and submitted for approval by the employee. Once these forms have been approved, this information collected on these forms will automatically be stored against the employee's record. A new employee would also be able to add their direct deposit information or any other personal information which would go through an approval process. Once approved, the employee's personal information will automatically be updated within the system based upon effective dating. Now let's take a look at how Josh would be able to enroll in his benefits. An employee can either enroll in their benefits for open enrollment or for a life change event throughout the year. In this case, we're going to start the open enrollment process. We are first brought to the instructions screen, which can be configured to give your employees an idea of what to expect as they go through this process. Each tab here on the left represents the different benefit plans that we are offering. We also have a re-enrollment option, which will allow employees to continue with their current coverage, or they can elect to change their coverage. Let's begin by looking at the medical insurance. For medical, you will notice that we are offering more than one type of benefit plan. Employees can view the details around each one of these plans to better understand each option. As you can see, the employee is able to review the cost of this plan, along with the copay information, the deductibles, and the out-of-pocket cost. Now let's say that we want to compare these plans. We will need to select both of the employee-only options and select which plan details we would like to compare. For example, the employee cost, the copay information, and the deductibles. Now we can see a nice side-by-side comparison of these details so that we can make a more informed decision on which plan we should move forward with. Let's select the first plan here, and then we can continue on with the enrollment process of our next benefit plan. Now the same process will apply for his dental insurance. However, for every benefit plan, we also have the option to waive the coverage. This time, let's waive our dental insurance, and we are now required to provide a reason for waiving our coverage. Perhaps we are covered under our spouse's plan. Now we can continue on to the life insurance selection. Here we have set up a unit-based life insurance plan where employees can select their coverage amount by entering in the number of units that they will be electing. In this case, every unit equals $1,000 worth of coverage. We can see here that 100 units or less is guaranteed, but it's possible to request more if the evidence of insurability form is provided. Let's see what happens if I enter more than the guaranteed amount. Now the employee has the opportunity to upload a copy of their EOI right from this screen. In addition, we need to identify our beneficiaries for this life insurance plan. All of Josh's contacts are listed here on this screen, and we can easily make a selection from here. In this case, his spouse will receive 100% of his insurance benefits. Now it's time to review our final selections. This screen will allow employees to review and confirm their selections by signing off on this using their electronic signature. Now we can see that our enrollment has been successfully submitted. Once submitted, our benefits will be carried through a workflow approval process, and once approved, the benefit selections will be saved against the employee's record, and the payroll deductions will automatically be created based upon effective dating. Now that we have taken a look at what the employees can do through their employee self-service portal, let's move on to taking a look at the system from the HR administrator's perspective. To do this, let's log in as Kathy. Our managers need to have more visibility into managing their team. So when Kathy logs in, she has everything that she needs in order to better manage her employees right here at her fingertips. She can easily manage her day-to-day tasks with system-generated email notifications that will direct her to her to-do list, which will display actionable items pending her approval. If she has any pending benefit enrollment approvals, HR actions that need to be reviewed, or performance reviews that need her input, these items would be flagged right here for easy access. As an administrator, we have access to all functionality. As I mentioned previously, everything in our menu structure is logically laid out for easy navigation. We have easy access to our employee self-service items, as well as easy access to managing our team. We can quickly access our employee record to gain insight and better manage our employees. Let's take a look at Josh's employee record. Here on the Primary tab, we're able to see a number of tiles that provide managers quick, easy access into our employees' information. This includes demographic information, account information, cost centers, pay and compensation data, etc. Under the main screen, this is where you can keep track of the employee's personal information, such as their contact information and their address. I want to focus a little bit more here under the HR tab to give you an idea of the different things that we can track within the system. For example, we can track things like education, trainings and certifications, or credentials that an employee has obtained along with their expiration dates. Incidents can also be stored against the employee record. Incidents can be disciplinary, performance, or even attendance issues that need to be documented and stored for an employee. We can also track assets that have been issued to the employees, such as laptops, cell phones, keys to the office, etc. The system is intuitive enough to look back to the employee's record during the termination process and will prompt the user to make sure that those assets have been returned. Workers' claims can be stored here within the employee record as well. Let's take a look at this workers' claim. As you can see, we can capture all of the necessary information supporting this injury, including what happened, when it happened, what was the resolution, Did the employee get seen by a doctor? And were they out of work for any amount of time? The information collected here will also be populated onto the OSHA log, which will help streamline the process for the safety manager. Now, as you can see, the system has the ability to store a wide range of data to meet your needs. However, you can also create an unlimited number of custom fields, and the data captured within these fields can be pulled into your different HR reports. This is a great example of how flexible our system is and that you can track virtually anything. Now you can use dashboard reporting to gain better insight into the health of your company and the overall performance of your team. Charts can be used to gather key metrics and view trends across your entire team, and you can use this information to take action and to drive your business forward. Throughout the year, you can capture key metrics to aid you in evaluating your employees' performance. For example, you can keep track of incidents, trainings and certifications, awards, etc. And we can use our report analytics to get a better understanding of how our employees are performing, and we can use that information to empower them to grow within their position. If we take a look at our HR dashboard, we can keep track of the incidents across our team. This could reflect attendance issues, safety concerns, and disciplinary write-ups. And when tracking these incidents, you can determine the next steps to prevent further violation. These metrics are important when it comes to your employees' overall evaluation. Within the Learning Dashboard, we can gain insight into the tracking of trainings and certifications across our employees. Which trainings have been completed and by whom, and when do those trainings expire? Keep in mind that we can automate reminder notifications to alert users of these upcoming expiration dates. Notifications coupled with these dashboard visuals make it extremely easy to manage this process. Here under the Talent Dashboard, I can use visuals to help better manage my team's overall performance and keep track of the performance review process. Throughout the year, we can assign team goals as well as personal goals to our employees to encourage success across our team. This chart is showing us a breakdown of the goals that have been assigned to our employees. These dashboard analytics allow managers to keep goals top of mind as the year progresses to make sure that their team is on track, and we can use this information to empower our employees to grow within their position. We can use this chart as a launching point to gain deeper insight into the status of these goals. So if I wanted to take a look at a goal in particular, I can simply click here on that chart, and now we can see more detail around this particular goal, such as those employees who have been assigned this goal and the status of this goal. Keep in mind that when goals get assigned to employees throughout the year, employees can track their status updates right here through the system. They can add notes and upload supporting documentation to help communicate their achievements to their manager. And then, of course, this goal can be tied directly to their performance review. That being said, let's take a look at an example of a performance review. This report here shows us the status of all of our reviews. Using the chart at the bottom of the screen, we can easily filter to see any reviews that have been submitted and are ready for finalization. Now that I can see my review that's in progress, I can open up this review and go through the finalization process. There is flexibility when it comes to setting up your reviews. You have the option to review your employees based upon your core values, your company competencies, and your goals, all of which can carry a different weighted percentage that will be taken into account in your overall scoring calculation. You can also identify who would be responsible for each step of the review cycle. As you can see, there were 3 steps associated with this particular review, and each step has a weighted percentage associated with it. In this case, the employee's self-review counts as only a small percentage of their total ranking. The final score is taking into account all of the different variables and will determine the final weighted average as calculated here across the top. So if we scroll down to the bottom of this screen, we're able to see the summary of this review, highlighting the rankings made by each participant that makes up our final score. Also from this screen, we can begin going through the finalization process. Kathy can enter in the dates that this was finalized. She can add any comments as she goes through this review finalization process. This review could also trigger a promotion or an annual increase. Pay increases can be entered during this finalization process, which also can be tied to our compensation module, where the system will look at the finalized review and make recommendations on what the increase should be based upon the employee's current pay grade. The managers can then use a budgeting tool to propose increases that would go through a workflow approval process. Once approved, those increases will go into effect based on the effective date defined. And with that, we have completed our HR demonstration. Thank you for your time, and please contact us today for more information.